Hello there, welcome in. How are you doing? And I'm saying that, or I'm asking that with a bit of a smile, because the energies since July have been so intense, and they just keep coming. We are in this pressure cooker experience where spirit, the divine, all these energies that are flowing into the earth right now are saying, it is time to wake up. You may not want to. You may want to hold on to those old beliefs and stories of yourself or of society, what we have been taught and conditioned to believe. But there is a larger game afoot. This rising up of frequency, coming into that energy of 5D, it's not letting us go back to sleep. It's not letting us bury our heads in the sand as we have done, and our parents and grandparents and so forth have done in the past. That's not happening now. We are not being allowed to let that happen. And that intensity that you are feeling, perhaps even being floored by the energies because it has just been so much that you have needed to see within yourself, it's gonna keep coming. Take a deep breath. Settle into wherever you are and breathe. Because while this energy is going to keep increasing, the more we surrender to it, to these experiences we are being asked to feel, to see, to let go of, the more we can do that, the easier we will have to surf these waves, to move through these changes. So as they come up, and you might get floored, you might get knocked down onto your ass, yet you don't stay down there. You were able to get back up because you're saying at that deep soul level, okay, I don't need to hold on to this. I will go into this story. I will let it go. And then that's how we rise. That's how we ride these waves of change, of transformation. So as they keep coming and they may pummel you, it doesn't really have the same effect that it did in the past. If that has been your experience, let me know in the comments below. How have you been experiencing this last bit of July and as we are now into August? What has your experience been? And are you finding that you're able to move through the energies a little bit easier? They're still intense, right? And yet, can you move through them? Let us know. I would love to hear from you. And the reason I say that as well is that intensity, it's going to keep building, guys. Like, this truly is, it's a pressure cooker. And that heat isn't going to get turned off. So go with that pressure. Go with that flow of the energy, because it's shedding all the old pieces of ourselves that are actually who we truly are. Authenticity is the name of the game. Being in your authentic self, going to the beat of your own drum, and being in integrity. And if you're not, that's more than likely when you're going to get knocked down on your ass, or you may see others going through that experience because they are not in alignment. So that's quite a big lead-in for the energies. There's a whole lot that we're going to be covering today, and I won't be covering all of it, so please keep that in mind as well. This solar eclipse coming up, which is opening the eclipse portal, we are already in those energies. And in fact, I'm filming this on August 5th. We are in the Lionsgate energy, with the peak being August 8th. So when I the energy is the intensity, it's not slowing down. It's not. it's just not. So know that, and know that you can move through this. If you are new here and new to this channel, my name is Chrissy Whistler. I am an embodied evolutionary astrologer, an energy practitioner, an oracle, and a channel. My intention with this video is to help you understand what the hell is happening in the world with these energies and how you can move with them. How you can quantum leap your life, keep growing, so you're not in the same old cycles and stories of the past, but you're doing what you came here to do. And my intention is to bring that to you in a language and a way that you can understand and work with. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, please go to my website, chrissywhistler.com. And if you missed working with me for the Eclipse immersion, you have another chance to work with me, Tara Whitaker, and Katie Gilmore. In September, we are doing our 2-week Embrace Your Authenticity workshop. So much of what I'm going to be speaking here about this solar eclipse in Leo, I'm going to be really expanding in that workshop to anchor you in for what to expect for the next 18 months. And within that workshop, we actually have a group quantum healing session to really let go of those old patterns that might have been keeping you from embracing who you truly are. That story of authenticity, going to the beat of your own drum, that theme I'm really going to be speaking to here in the solar eclipse. So if you find you're getting rocked by that particular energy, definitely consider joining our 2-week Embrace Your Authenticity workshop. And again, go down below, you'll find a description and a link there, and I hope that we see you. And if you find this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, please share it, please subscribe. Really helps me so much to continue to grow this channel and to connect with people who are like you and ready to change the game that we have been playing in for thousands and thousands of years. So with that said, let's dive in and give you some anchoring and grounding for what the hell is happening right now and where are we being called to go to next. So first I want to just start with a little channeled message that I received at the full moon in Aquarius. Now please know that what you may have experienced at that full moon in Aquarius, an illumination of whatever that was for you, especially around those themes of authenticity, being your unique self, okay? Those themes are not stopping from that full moon. They're going to keep reverberating outward, and this solar eclipse is also going to be really anchoring us into that. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through this moon cycle of the new moon in Leo. That full moon energy is still carrying forward. So that full moon in Aquarius, that was actually one of my getting knocked down on my ass moments, really going into some very deep energies, especially around being a woman and the expectations that are held by society, especially in the Western civilization and here in the United States. We have a very particular conditioning around women and the expectations of women and how women should look, especially as they get older. So my darling husband played that role for me. I won't go into the details here, but it was just this massive opening into these wounds and into my own beliefs of myself that pushed me to come to a point with him and to say, I need you to see me. I need you to see and to acknowledge what I do and what I hold that is unseen by him, by society. I need acknowledgement, and I needed to make it clear, to speak it, to bring it out of hiding, the expectations we have towards our men and what we expect of women, which is all perfection and doing it all. And when we're not doing things perfectly or taking care of the kids or focusing on the work, then we're feeling shame and guilt, and then we're not taking care of our bodies or moving our bodies in a way that helps us, because we always put ourselves last, especially as mothers. We're always last, and yet we must be perfect and look like A. So as I shared that story, I could feel, even as I was going through it, I could feel the tendrils, the depths of what that was. It wasn't just Sean and the conversation he had with me. It was my mother. It was my grandmother. It was the female line, like the whole society, the collective, and how we see these expectations around men and women. And the more I started sharing what happened, and it was like my fractal story was a fractal into every other woman that I spoke to, including my beautiful neighbor who's going to be turning 90. We had a fantastic conversation, and she was just like, everything you are saying, I have felt, and my daughters have felt. And she kept apologizing for comparing herself as almost 90 to an almost 45-year-old woman. And yet there was this resonance because our stories were the same. So this was my experience, this deconditioning Aquarius energy, this divine discontent. That is Uranus, that is Aquarius. That energy isn't going away. This bringing things to the surface to see them and to name them, even as it may be painful, we have to. It's like, it's not going back in the box. It's not going quietly into the night, going back to bed, sweeping it under the rug. Not anymore. So have you experienced something similar in your life where, no, I can't keep doing this any longer? That restlessness, this is not okay. That kind of energy. Again, divine discontent. What this initiated for me was a couple things. It was me going through that experience and then having the message come in, you can't carry it with you. So I'm having these deep feelings about my body and being not acknowledged for everything that I'm doing and holding and having to be perfect. You can't carry it with you. I knew what I was being called to go into. This need to bring it up and to move through it, because what I am creating and what you are creating, we can't carry those old stories and beliefs with us. So we have to go into them. That's part of the pressure cooker. That's part of the energy that is not letting us go. So if that has been your experience, know that this is part of the massive energy upgrades that we have been going through. This need to witness those stories, to feel them, to clear them. We are coming into a realignment with ourselves. But we have to shed the bullshit first before we can come into that realignment. So you might get knocked on your ass. And if you feel like you are, just kind of know this is a validation for your experience. It's not only you. You're not the only one going through it. Take a deep breath and remember, this is happening because your soul knows that you cannot carry it with you. Another message that came through as I was under this full moon with my dear friend, and I actually started channeling. It was very unexpected, and it was about this time that we are in. So we're in between worlds right now, this liminal space. The old world is crumbling. The new one isn't quite here yet, or maybe barely, right? Clearing that liminal space. And yet we have to somehow still be in the old world because we're living here right now. We have bills to pay. We need to feed our families. We need to feed ourselves. Like there's this reality that we are still in, even as that reality is collapsing and changing and transforming. And so the message that was given to me was that right now we are spinning plates in the air as we are in between worlds, between 3D and 5D Earth. Some plates we need to keep spinning as the world currently stands in this in-between. Again, we have to pay bills. You got to pay the electricity. I got to pay the internet so I can keep sending these messages to you, right? There are these things we have to do. Those plates need to keep spinning in the air, but we can't keep spinning all of them. And the question that was asked, we need to let some of those plates fall. And my friend Hannah asked, how do we know which plates to let fall? And the reply that she got, that I got, was that it depends. Why is that plate spinning in the first place? That's where we need to start. That's what we have to first ask. Why is that plate there? And once you know the answer to that, you can decide to let it keep spinning or let it fall down. Because the energies are changing and we can't, I'm sure you can feel it. You might have a giant to-do list and you could do 3 things and then you're like, oh my God, I'm done. I can't move. I'm staying on the couch. That's it. So it's like, which plates can you let fall? And this is part of that internal process that I was even speaking of at the very beginning. As we get that realignment, there's that need to shed. Part of that shedding is understanding why the thing is even there in the first place. And does it still need to be there? If yes, keep it. If not, let it fall and crash to the ground. Have you been experiencing anything like that in your life? Are you starting to recognize that there are plates you are spinning because that's how you've been raised, that's the way things have always worked, that you actually need to let fall to the ground? Let us know in the comments below what your spinning plates are. All right, so we're going to start to slowly move into the astrology around this solar eclipse. But I first wanted to bring to you a channeled message. This is a time of revolution. but not the likes you as humanity have previously known. This is a revolution of ideas, a revolution of love, a revolution of all you have known, a revolution of your very being as human beings. You are needed for what is coming. Each of you listening holds a key for what is coming, for what is needed to build this new world, this new earth. That very much is the energies, the astrology that we are in, as the lunar nodes are now in that Aquarius North Node, Leo South Node polarity. This is a this intensity, it's not going away. We have Pluto, which is now out of bounds. I won't go into the depths of what that means, but that's going to heighten that revolutionary energy, the need for change. Pluto in Aquarius, the grenade going off in the steel box. My goodness. It's not going back in the box, guys. That box is going to get blown open, and we're just at the precipice of that moment of change. This is a blossoming of 1965, 1966, Pluto, Uranus, when they came together then. Now they're in this trine position. What that means, we are going to see a lot of social upheaval. In order to bring about change for equality, it requires a catalyst. Think back to the 60s and what was happening then. The civil rights movement, the rise of women and women mattering, again, which is even echoing to my story that I shared at the very beginning of this video. This expectation in the roles of women. A lot of social change and justice came through at that time, but in order to happen, you needed the catalyst. You needed the social upheaval for the people to rise together and to say, this is not okay. Not on my watch. We are going together demand change in a very grassroots kind of way. It was the community who rose up. The people who came together. These rights were not given by the people in power. Our governments didn't just say, you know what? Let's give Black people some more rights. Right? It didn't happen that way. Let's give women some more rights. Let's actually allow them to have their own checking account and not be tied to their husband or to their father. Those are just some examples from here in the States. I have no doubt there's a similar resonant for whatever country that you are tuning in from. So just know that energy, that blossoming energy, it's happening, but there's going to be a lot of social upheaval to get us into that space of true equality, true justice. This is very much a time of anti-establishment. In fact, I was actually listening to an independent journalist, Scott McFarlane, speaking last night, and he was talking about people bucking against the establishments. Kids distrustful, of AI, distrustful of academia. Now we have independent media coming through as opposed to the established media. So all of that distrust of establishment energy, that's so much Pluto and Aquarius and all the Aquarian energy that we're stepping into. So that's going to keep happening. That will keep growing. What we are really going to see, the solar eclipse, new moon in Leo, is going to be a spark that's going to carry out for 6 months. So what we will see is very clearly, especially with the moon's nodes at the anaretic degree, that means 29 degrees, there's a real distortion of their energies. So Leo, 29 degrees Leo, like we're gonna see the inequality, the distribution of wealth and power, and it being misused and abused. The corruption that is happening is only going to heighten. And again, it's so we can see it. So we can see it all through our past human story, because we can't carry it with us into the future. We are going to see the energy of narcissism to an extreme, even more than we are now, especially when it comes to politicians like Donald Trump and those around him. That level of narcissism, that only one person matters and they will distort reality and the reality of others to come into their realm, their way and perception of seeing the world, that's going to keep happening. And again, it's so we can clearly see it and name it for what it is. This solar eclipse is going to be happening on August 12th, 10:36 a.m. Pacific time at 20 degrees of Leo. So see where that falls for you in your chart. If you don't know where that is and you would like to have an eclipse reading, do please reach out. This is not just a one and done thing. It's going to be carrying us for the next 6 months. So you are planting a seed for this moon cycle, but you're also planting a seed for 6 months. And because this is a south nodal eclipse, we're going to be going into the past. We're going to be really looking at that extreme lower octave energy of Leo, which, as I was telling you, is that narcissism, kings, monarch, the person at the top of the food chain, and only they matter. You can also think of it like the French Revolution, the storming of the Bastille, having these gold castles or gold statues that are currently being put up in Washington, D.C., while the people are struggling to buy food and fuel and health care and places to live. Can you feel that? That divine discontent from the people, while the person in charge has these grandiosity beliefs of themselves. The gold statues in celebration of what they want and not listening to the needs of the people. So we're going to see this. Politicians, yes, we're going to see this from our corporations. It's really whoever is at that top of the food chain, hoarding all the wealth, hoarding the spotlight, and refusing to allow others to come in and take center stage. This solar eclipse is also going to be with, it's a little bit wide, but we have Varuna there in Leo. that Varuna in Leo is tapping into a deeper human story. This is a call to return to our sovereignty and to claim it. To claim the sovereignty that comes from our hearts and to be led by our hearts. That's especially true with a trine happening to Saturn and Celestia right now. This coming into our own power and seeing who we truly are and breaking through any delusions that have kept us from that truth of ourselves. And that's going to be a bigger theme as I move deeper into the solar eclipse. We also have Jupiter in Leo as well as Mercury, who's opposite to Pluto in Aquarius. What that means is, are your ideas being led or being fed by your heart? Is it coming from that place, or is it coming from grandiosity? We are being called to come out of the cookie cutter mold of being like everybody else, and this embracing of our unique shapes and colors, whoever we are, to really stand in that. So how is that coming up for you? Are you seeing that yet? Yeah, I can feel that buildup of energy. This journey that we are on is taking us into the past. Again, South Nodal eclipse, where we were not allowed to follow our hearts, to embrace the unique creative light of who you are, that expression that is you. Where has there been a suppression and repression from the past of your heart, of your creativity? That freedom to go to the beat of your own drum, to just follow and explore whatever road that your creativity, that is you, is wanting to take you down. That is who you are. We see this very clearly. We have a grand fire trine at this solar eclipse. We have this trine to Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, and then we have a trine that's bringing in Saturn, Celestia. That one's a little bit wide, but on the other end of that, if you just move up a little bit, more exact trine is to Pallas Athena in Aries, with Eris as well right there. What does that mean? This is really about, as you go into that past story and tap into those places where who you are has been suppressed. You were not allowed to celebrate you, to celebrate that uniqueness of you and your heart, your creativity. That intuitive wisdom that is you, Pallas Athene, is coming back online as you go back into that past. And you heal it, you see it, you witness it. Where society has conditioned you to be, letting that go. Embracing your instincts, your gut intuitive knowing. And then there's Eris. She's holding her ground and she's not letting it go. She will stay there on that battlefield, helping us to see those shadows of ourselves. And she will not leave until we do. So expect this solar eclipse to be reliving some of those old past experiences where your creativity, your intuitive wisdom and knowing, even a belief, the belief in yourself, expect that to happen. Expect it to come to the surface because it's going to demand to be seen. Remember, you can't carry it with you. We're really going to be asked right now to question the rules that we've been playing by. What have been the illusions and delusions that we've bought into or that we were told by outside world that have been keeping you from your desires, from you embracing your uniqueness, your authenticity, going to the beat of your own drum? The more you work with it, the more you go into that past, this is alchemizing we're talking about here, the more you go into it and you meet that tension head on, burn that shit down, okay, to stop carrying it. Let that be the fertile ground for what you are here to build. The keys that you are holding for this new world. This solar eclipse is in the beautiful quintile to Haumea. Oh my goodness, in Scorpio, this is rebirth and regeneration, but you gotta burn that shit down first. So go into the work. Know that you will succeed if you do. Let go of what is not safe because you can't carry it with you, okay? That is so much this energy right now. We also have a powerful grand air trine in effect with Pluto, Uranus, Venus, and Libra. This is very much about transformation, stepping into the future by seeing people who we are not actually in alignment with. That's Uranus in Gemini. The polarity thing is going to get very, very clear, even more so than it already is. Be aware of that. Know that's part of it. These are the people who we do not hold a similar heart resonance with. People who cannot, or people who can listen to us. Venus. That's going to get very clear. And there's going to be a need to separate from those who just can't hear us and meet us at that same frequency that we are rising into. This is about transformation, a metamorphosis of what we value, of our own worth and self-esteem. Can we step into true equality, true justice? This energy is a demand for justice. Venus can't just be the people pleaser that she's always been in the past. Not with that trine to Uranus, not with that trine to Pluto and Aquarius. This is shaking Venus up from that people pleaser energy and into that demand for justice. Libra, equality, balance. Libra, it's time for Venus to start learning what that balance is, including that balance of the masculine feminine, which I talked about at the very beginning of the video. So see how all this is going to be coming through for you as this month of August and beyond unfolds. What's also very powerful is Ixion at this solar eclipse. Ixion is what we call in a finger of fate. To one side, we've got an inconjunct to Mercury. To the other, we have an inconjunct to Uranus. So there's that divine discontent energy. You can feel there's a burp coming. And then opposite to Ixion, we have Mars and Ceres at 0 degrees of Cancer. Are you ready to challenge the status quo? The rules everyone said you must play by. That is the message that I received as I was tuning into that. It is time to throw out the rules. And yet, the question then is asked to each of you, what will those new rules be? New ideas, new ways of being, new ways of caring for yourself, for others, for your nourishment, for holding safe space. What are the new rules you wish to play by? What are the new rules that you need? That is what Ixion is asking of us. That is Mars, Ceres, and Cancer. It's not necessarily going to be an easy energy to work with. We're not going to get it right out of the gate. Experiment. Go this way. Go that way. This is about coming back into your passion, to really break down society and these conditionings put on you by parents, by society, by our culture. All that's Capricorn energy, Ixion and Capricorn. Break it down and come back to you. What are the new rules of society that you need to be in society and to honor yourself? Can you feel this? This energy, this pressure that is building. Hang in there. It's going to be a lot. Who we will be on the other side of this summer is going to be someone both entirely new and at the same time very familiar at a soul level. That is who we are being invited to come back into alignment with. Our essential nature. Know that these next 6 months are going to be tough. Humanity doesn't like change, and yet change is where we are at. So I will conclude this video with a channeled message that came through as, again, I was sitting with this moment that we are all in. You are on the precipice of great changes that will sweep across your worlds all you have known. It will reach far greater, far wider, and vaster than even you can conceive. The changes, the transformation, the journey of one who has lived underwater for all its life and all the life of its ancestors, and suddenly discovers it is now a being of air, and that it is meant to fly. It has always been meant to fly. Where are you flying to? Can you feel that your wings are emerging? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you're doing and getting along with this massive, massive solar eclipse. That again, this time is a gong that beat, that reverberation will be continuing into the next several years. Hang in there. You've got this. And if you need that support, do please reach out and schedule a reading or a healing session with me. Or I hope that we see you at the workshop that Tara, myself, and Katie are putting on in September. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know that these videos are coming. And I hope to see you guys soon. Please take care and hang in there. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.